Welcome to part 2 of the 0GP region locked money making challenge. Everything you need to know is in part 1. If you haven't seen that already, I definitely recommend checking it out. Otherwise, let's just get right into the challenge. Let's kick off the Zaya region with Rip grinding. He's starting his runoff at the Master Farmer, collects a Raynar seed and goes to the Grand Exchange to sell it. He's then gonna pick up 80 dynamite from an NPC, go back to the Grand Exchange and sell that too, and buy 2 grubby keys. Grubby keys are about 40,000 GP on the Grand Exchange. The average grubby chest is worth 50k. Slowly and steadily, Rip grinding is going to open these grubby chests, go back to the Grand Exchange, sell the loot, and then buy more, eventually building it up to where he can bring 6 or 7 keys at a time. Definitely a unique moneymaker I didn't know was so profitable. Now a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. Dragon Raja is a mobile game available on iOS and Android devices that uses the advanced Unreal Engine 4, which does not disappoint. The graphics in this game are absolutely insane. It's like carrying a AAA quality console game in your pocket. And in Dragon Raja, you can truly be anyone. You are left in an open world and can cause traffic jams by standing in the street, slip on the ground depending on the weather. Your character can be cold, hungry, happy, or have other feelings that affect your performance in fights. There are 8 classes to choose from, 4 primary classes and 4 high-level classes, with different skills and characteristics for both PvE and PvP roles. You can be a Michelin star chef, a superstar, or a shop owner. Anything is possible. There's also a housing system and you can choose a small flat or a grand castle. You get the idea that there are so many possibilities in this game, not to mention you can make friends and party with players across the globe. The game gets constant updates like the new skateboarder class, which has 3 weapons, a bat, a skateboard, and a crossbow. The skateboard allows for increased movement speed while approaching enemies, the bat destroys their defenses, and the crossbow deals the final blow. So make sure to download Dragon Raja by using my link in the description. Thanks to Dragon Raja for sponsoring this video. Lil Ratbag starts off his Zaya run pickpocketing some guards. He's gonna steal about 1000 GP, hop over to a PvP world, and then buy some raw sharks and raw shrimps from the fishing store nearby. He sells those and buys some darts and a face mask and goes into the Karen Slayer dungeon, where for the next 15 minutes he's gonna use those darts to safe spot dust devils. You can see from his inventory, the drops aren't great, but he's building up wealth slowly. He sells all that loot, buys full mithril, a super set of potions, and a rune scimitar. Going back to that same dungeon, he starts killing abyssal demons. Definitely a budget setup. Robert's gonna start off his run picking up 80 dynamite from an NPC in Zaya. He sells that for 60k, and then spends less than 60k on a PVM setup. After picking up various untradables that are gonna help him, he heads over to the alchemical hydra. I didn't realize the alchemical hydra was easy enough to kill in this budget gear, but then again my PVMing skills are very poor. His first kill he gets about 45k, his second kill about 110k, and his third kill he gets lucky with 37 Onyx Bolts E for a total of about 415k. He's making great progress in the time so far. With 6 minutes left, Rip grinding has quite a bit of cash and also 8 grubby keys in his inventory. He gets in a couple more inventories of keys before time runs out. He's gonna sell all of the loot and he's made a total of 1.73 million GP just from opening grubby chests, starting with 0 GP. Lil Ratbags has been killing abyssal demons for the past 30 minutes, and he finally gets an abyssal whip. He finishes his run with 2.38 million GP. With half his run done, Robert has enough money to upgrade to a dragon crossbow. I did not realize they're so cheap, they're only 600k. And he's gonna go back to the alchemical hydra, but he's not quite as lucky as he was in the first half of his run, and he ends up selling everything for 1.57 million GP. Great PVMing skills. That means Lil Ratbags has won the Zaya region. Yurso Pepegat is gonna start us off in the Asgarnian region. He pickpockets a guard for about 3k GP and then heads down to the Dwarven Mines to buy an adamant pickaxe. He's gonna proceed into the mining guild to compete against bots and lots of gold farmers, maybe even a couple real players in there, for the runite ore. Lil Ratbag starts off his run, pickpocketing guards for a few minutes, and then going over to a farming patch nearby to buy spades. He can note them on the leprechaun, so he's actually able to gather quite a few of them before his GP runs out. He sells 144 of them for about 20k, and buys a rune crossbow heading over to God Wars. At first I thought he might be trying to solo God Wars with no food and just a rune crossbow. Thankfully that was not what he was trying to do. He's just killing spiritual mages, and he actually gets a rune rune kite shield and dragon boots drop. He sells those and heads over to Cerberus. Rip Grinding starts his run by picking up some blue dragon scales. He gets almost a full inventory and sells it on the Grand Exchange. They're less than 1k each. And then goes to the Warrior Guild to buy some food from the shop there. This is a really good moneymaker. The shop sells pizzas and potatoes with cheese really cheap. He's gonna sell that food on the Grand Exchange, buy a rune pickaxe, and mine a few runite ores, and sell all those for a total of 180k. He then buys green dragon hides and goes over to the crafting guild to tan the hides rapidly. With only an adamant pickaxe, Urso Pepiga has actually made some pretty good progress mining that runite ore. When his run comes to an end, he has 40 of the ores and sells all of them for 443k. RNG for Little Rat Bags unfortunately did not come through. He ended up with only 193,000 GP. Rip Grinding has been making trips tanning green dragon hides in the crafting guild for the last 40 minutes. His run is up and he sells all of the tanned green dragon hides for a total of 819k. That also means Rip Grinding won the Asgarnian region, kicking off the Mytholon region with Rip Grinding in Draenor Village. He pickpockets a master farmer for a Raynor seed, goes to the Grand Exchange and buys a rune pickaxe, and then over to Fossil Island to mine some runite ores. He only mines 4 of them and then buys a dragon scimitar and heads over to the Abyss to kill abyssal demons. Relic starts off his run near the cows in Lumbridge. He's just hopping worlds and I didn't know what he was looking for until he paused on a world when he saw a ninja impling. He catches it and gets a rune chain body. He's gonna buy a rune scimitar, some impling jars, and head over to Puro Puro. He catches a magpie and a ninja impling, both worth between 15 to 20k, and sells them on the Grand Exchange. He then heads over to the Abyss and starts killing abyssal demons. Trentacles starts by pickpocketing a master farmer in Draenor Village, gets a Raynor seed and sells it on the Grand Exchange. He's then gonna spend the next 13 minutes buying battle stabs in Varrock from Zaf and selling them again on the Grand Exchange to build up gold slowly. He eventually gets enough gold for a dragon scimitar and some budget armor, and heads over to Fossil Island to kill wyverns there. Linataco starts his run picking up some cave goblin wire. There is truly nothing more to be said other than he collects the wire and banks it for an entire hour. At the end of his run, he's collected almost 400 of the wires and sells them all on the Grand Exchange for 700 to 800 GP, finishing with 324k. With 14 minutes left in his run, Rip Grinding gets an abyssal whip. He immediately goes to the Grand Exchange and sells it and buys black dragon hides. He has 2.3 million GP up to this point, and he starts casting tan leather on the black dragon hides. He was able to make 260k in those 14 minutes and ends with 2.56 million GP. With 7 minutes left, Trentacles is still killing wyverns. He gets a valuable drop Onyx Bolt Tips for 110k. I have no idea what the GP per hour here is, so I'll be interested to see. In the last minute of his run, Trentacles is dancing at the Grand Exchange saying subscribe to Trentacles Gaming, and he's made 343k during his run. With 10 minutes left, Relic gets an abyssal whip. That's pretty lucky, and he's gonna continue killing abyssal demons for the rest of his run. Relic ends with 2.42 million GP. That means Rip Grinding has won the Mytholon region. Sigil is going to start us off for the Karamja region. His run starts when he picks pineapples on Karamja. He's gonna gather 13 of those and go to the Grand Exchange, sell them, buy some super anti-poisons, pick up a machete, some food, and a spade, and start doing one of the best money makers in Karamja, digging for gout tubers. He gets his first one with 46 minutes left, and he gets another one with 33 minutes left. Rip Grinding starts off his Karamja run in the Tsar region, pickpocketing an NPC that gives you uncut gems. As soon as he gets an uncut ruby, he goes to the Grand Exchange to sell it, and he heads back to Karamja to dig up a gout tuber, which he does find with 53 minutes left. Now he's gonna sell that gout tuber and buy jades, which he exchanges for trading sticks at Gabuti. With 21 minutes left, Sigil actually digs up a third gout tuber, and with 7 minutes left, a fourth gout tuber, and I'm pretty sure there's a bot there to witness him digging that gout tuber up. Now when Sigil goes to the Grand Exchange to sell the gout tubers, there's a slight problem. They're not selling at all. I got 6 or 7 other runs digging up gout tubers and they all sold for over 700k easily. Sigil ends up selling his for about 400k each, much lower than the market rate. I double checked the prices and there was just a strange dip in the gout tuber economy for one day. If those were priced as they normally are, he would have made over 2.8 million GP. Rip Grinding has been buying and selling jades for trading sticks and selling the trading sticks on the Grand Exchange to buy more jades, trades for the last 20 minutes. He takes a quick break at the Grand Exchange to try to see if he can unload some of those trading sticks, and goes back to work. In his price check, he gets 2.4 million GP, but he hasn't sold the trading sticks. They weren't selling for 7 GP each. The average price history has them going for 6 or 7 GP, but the trading volume's low. Both of the top runs had some pricing issues, but they were the top runs by a considerable amount, so I decided to award both of these contestants 100 million GP. Aubrey's gonna start us off in the Tehran region. I can't pronounce that at all, but it's basically the Elven lands. 2 minutes in, he's pickpocketing an NPC and gets an enhanced crystal teleport seed. He sells that for 3 million GP. He buys a blowpipe as well as some mage gear and heads over to Zulrah. Toniti starts off his run by picking up a butterfly net, and he's gonna head over to Priptonos catching crystal implings. With 50 minutes left, he's already caught 4 and he opens them up. The 3 rune scimitars and the onyx bolt tips aren't bad, but nothing lucky enough for him to really be in this race so far. The 747B is also starting off their run pickpocketing the same NPC, except it takes 10 minutes for him to get the enhanced crystal teleport seed. He also sells it, but instead of going over to Zulrah, he heads to Zulcano. Aubrey's been killing the Prophet Snake for quite a long time now, most of his run. He hasn't gotten any unique drops, but after selling all of the loot from the run, he ends with 3.38 million GP. With 20 minutes left, Toniti's gonna open another 5 crystal implings. He gets a U seed, but again, nothing to keep him in the competition. Toniti sells all of that loot and gets 775k. The 747B spends the rest of his run grinding out Zulcano, and he sells all the loot except he wasn't able to use those shards on a divine potion to get extra profit. He still ends with 3.7 million GP. That means the 747B is the winner of the Tehran region. Congratulations to all of the winners of each region. I ended up giving out a total of 1.2 billion GP. I'm happy to announce the next challenge as well. How many combat levels can you gain starting at level 3 in 1 hour? There are absolutely no rules, except you can't use anything against the rules of RuneScape. Submissions are due in 2 weeks. First place gets 500 million GP, second place 250 mil, third 150 mil, fourth 75 mil, and fifth 25 mil. You can view the full challenge instructions on the community tab of my YouTube channel. If you liked the video, make sure to like the video. I'll see you guys later.